Hello, welcome to Barely Competent Gaming. I'm Jim, and it's got a slightly different setup. I say to normal, but none of you have probably been watching me normally, so forgive the music coming in and out. Every time I click off screen, the music goes on this game, which is really annoying. Here we go, just getting a bit set up. It'll take a bit of getting used to. I switched my second screen round onto the other side, so everything's a bit back to front to what I'm used to. Plus, I'm using a new camera, which I hope I got it lined up all right. Hopefully, it's a bit tricky to generally see, just because if I'm looking at the camera or thereabouts and I'm not looking at what it's doing. So, yeah, give us a shout if I end up. I was worried I'm going to end up leaning forward and not being in screen most of the time. I take a bit of getting used to, but do let me know if there's any issues. Please let me know how the audio is as well. It's been tricky. Oh, brilliant. Cheers, man. Cheers, Corbinite. Welcome to the stream. Okay, let's get into it. Oh, excellent. Brilliant. Yeah, it was tricky. Yeah, tricky getting the audio balance right, because of course what's coming through my headset as well isn't exactly what you're getting. Right, so we're starting a new campaign. We've actually started this a couple of times on previous streams. One time we kind of failed miserably, but we've also had tech issues. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it should all go all right today. Because I thought that before. I thought I had it fixed. If anybody's watching this on YouTube, then I've said this about three streams in a row, saying this is going to be my first video on YouTube, and because it's been so bad from a tech point of view, I haven't uploaded them. But it's looking all stable at the moment, so fingers crossed it'll all be good. Fingers crossed this will be the one. Oh, now the game's getting a bit frame ratey. On my end, that is. It's not generally been an issue on my end. But anyway, we're going to play as Khalida. Tried it a couple of times. Hopefully that frame rate's going to sort itself out. It's not normally that bad. So we're going to play on battle difficulty hard and campaign difficulty on very hard. It's a very tricky start to begin with Khalida, I've found. Ooh, this is getting pretty laggy now. I'm wondering if the game's at issue. Alright, we'll try and load it up and see how it goes. I'll go over Khalida's special effects as we get in, and we'll watch the video intro, and we'll see how it goes from there. I'll keep quiet during that video as well, so we can all see it. Oh, sorry, I accidentally clicked off.
Monuments. Even civilizations cannot stand against it. Their remnants lost beneath the dunes, awaiting discovery by the brave. Oh, foolish.
What's that? I can hear something. Come here, quiet.
Like time itself, the living are not welcome in Nehekara. For this is the land of the dead, ruled by the Tomb Kings, where only the expired may serve. All bow before High Queen Khalida, the embodiment of the Asp. She has been sent far from Liberus by her beloved goddess. Eternity was promised, but the Tomb Kings awoke to unlife, no longer beatific sovereigns. Their kingdoms as decayed as their bodies. The glory of Khemri lost, forgotten. A comet, an omen. The Black Pyramid stirs, but does not wake. A vessel of untold power, awaiting a new master. But it remains sealed. The Lich Priests are tasked with finding access. They venture deep into the catacombs, seeking clues. Discovering an obelisk inscribed with hieroglyphs as old as the desert gods. The answer lies in the 9 books of Nagash, the original tomes of undead lore, authored by the Arch-Necromancer. Due to the turbulence of the Vortex across the ocean, not 9, but only 5 books are needed. Then, the pyramid shall open. Time has seen the books lost, scattered. Other Tomb Kings will seek them, for all desire the Black Pyramid. Begin the search. Raise your warriors. The legions of Khemri march to war.
That's a cool cutscene. Because I've had these tech issues and I've started this campaign again a few times. I've watched it about 3 or 4 times, and of course, yeah, saying want to stick this on YouTube. I feel like I should watch it. If I was just playing by myself, I probably would watch it again. But it is pretty cool. I do love the probably one of my favourite ones. It does go into a lot more of the background of the race as a whole, as opposed to just the Vortex, which is what the other ones tend to focus on. Or in this case, the books of Nagash that we're going to be hunting after. Yeah, we're looking so stable so far. So it's a bit weird. One of my setups, I had the microphone on my second screen. Oh, not the microphone, sorry, the camera. So it meant you always had a bit of a side-on view of me. But then when I was looking at the chat, that's when I would be looking at you. So it's a bit weird getting used to it, that when I'm talking, I should really look at the camera. It wasn't something I really had to consider before. But yeah, just got this new camera, and it's alright. I've also got my main TV over on the left of me, which is just so I can monitor the stream, see what it's... because it was having a tendency to freeze up a bit. I'm noticing I have a tendency to lean in to the camera a bit. Just because I frame it based on the idea that I'm going to be sat upright. And of course I don't sit upright most of the time. So I might have to change that at another time. So as you may have guessed, I'm not playing with the greatest of hardware. Hence the load time. So I do apologise in advance. I'm probably going to export these to YouTube directly using Twitch to see how it goes. But I think at some point I want to do like a cut down edited version into more like half-hour, 1-hour episode type things, which I can maybe edit out the load screens and such. As assuming everything else works. Yeah, I've got a hybrid drive, and yeah, I mean, to be honest, I need a whole new computer. I mean, SSD would definitely be good for sure. I just I say it's on first on my shopping list of upgrades. Oh, I'll be quiet again.
Creatures of the night.
It is foolish to think the jungles can conceal your presence from me. But who will be the first to taste my poison? The lizard men, perhaps? Lustria teems with life, yet I bring only death. And when there is no more blood, where will you feed, vampire? I travel far from my throne, not merely to end you, creature, but for the books of Nagash. The knowledge they contain will grant me strength over Neferata. My hatred cannot be sated any longer. By Asaph, I strike out for vengeance and justice.
Yeah, Corbinite, this game is fairly intensive. I've actually put on relatively low settings for the most part. I mean, you get used to it with the hardware you've got, right? I mean, I play a lot of strategy games, so one of the things you just tend to deal with is slower load times. You can kind of live with that. Yeah, like I was saying, it's like number one upgrade for me as far as the streaming is concerned is a computer. Well, obviously that's quite expensive, so it might be a while. And yeah, one of the things that's really come to running Total War and the streaming software, yeah, that's had some issues, but touch wood, you might have got it sorted. Do you have this DLC? How are you finding it, Corbinite? I'm really liking it. I played a fair bit. I actually played with Khalida on Immortal Empires. Didn't get that far into it. I was testing out trying to do this streaming campaign on that, because I was having trouble with this one. Because our first enemy is the Lizardmen, and Lizardmen starting units are really tough. And I think with this campaign as well, it's a tough start. And I think the first 10 or 20 turns really make or break this campaign. I've had it before where the Lizardmen held me up too much, and then the Skaven were just a bit too difficult to deal with. They were hiding in these ruins, I think. We don't know. But the basic plan was the same as before. Ally with the High Elves. Hopefully the High Elves, because we're both at war with the Sentinels. I'm not fussed about going against them. I kind of want to secure my province and then head south. Which is what we're going to aim to do. And of course our aim is to get the books of Nagash. So I'm assuming you know how the basics of Tomb Kings work. They're very different to the other races. They're very difficult to start with that 45 gold a turn is very tricky. Oh, excellent. Yes, no, I noticed actually it doesn't feel laggy actually. It tends to be the problem I was tending to have was that it was completely freezing up. Like it would freeze up for a good ages at a time. When we get into battles, there might be a bit of lag or a bit of slowdown at least anyway, but that should be what I've tended to find. As far as game performance goes, you see what I see. So as long as I think it's playable, if it's a bit slow on the loading times, I can live with that. As long as the gameplay is alright. Yeah, one of the things I found so far is like once you can get your income up to about 1,000 and then 2,000 and such, you're laughing because it never really goes down. Whereas every time you build a new army with one of the other races, your income takes a hit. There's nothing it really does that for Tomb Kings unless you actually just loses. And once you start, well, I suppose once you start losing some trade deals and whatnot, I think trade's going to be very important. And these missions, I think in the short term, these missions are really what's going to help us build up. So I'm half expecting. Right, research technology. These are basically just your generic kind of missions, more like tutorial type missions. Now, one of the things I was thinking about, because I can hit these straight away, and normally I wait for 2 turns and build up a bit. But they're going to build up an army over here, or somewhere over here. And I normally end up fighting a full stack here. So part of me feels like I should go after them as soon as possible.
Bring me Neferata's head.
I don't think I can really do it with what I've got. The 2 swords. Maybe I can. See,
Bow.
you know what? I'm going to quick save. I'm not one of these people who's... I don't like to just scum save. But I've restarted this campaign a lot, and I think this is going to be a pretty dodgy tactic. But I think I'm going to try and attack them turn 1. Because the extra building... Because then I can always start building units at the end of the turn. And they've only got 2 units of Saurus. So I'm going to give it a go. And this may be very quick and early defeat. Or it's going to be glorious. So... Oh, going to need to change my camera settings and stuff. Don't like it going that slowly. So saying it's even. We'll see. Saurus are a hell of a lot tougher than I am, but it's only 2 units of Saurus. I do have a tendency, every game so far, I've lost these guys early. I'm jealous of the other lords because they tend to they get the big guys. Or is it? Cetra has his War Sphinx. Katep has his Hero Titan, and Arcan gets his Scorpion. Or just get some cavalry and such. One of the things I find, I have a tendency to overextend them. Chariots as well, in fact. I've started really more using them in a way of counter-charging. The basic aim with Khalida is to... I realise I haven't gone through the rules and such. It's that's what makes them special, but effectively High Queen Khalida is all about the range attacks. It's very much about buffing up her archers. She's all right in combat. She'd do some good against some normal units. I wouldn't want to put her up against a combat lord. And in fact, I'm going to very much spec her out to buff the rest of the army. She's a very much... I'm going to use her as very much a set at the back in the archer line, buff you guys up, and shoot the enemies to death. I want the Cascade of Souls, a couple of catapults, 6 archers, maybe a couple of Yushabti with bows, with great bows. And that'd be the core of the army then, and the rest would be like spears just to hold up the enemy and a few counter-charging units. I haven't quite decided exactly what I want to do there. So let's... I have a feeling I'm gonna regret this battle. We'll see. So if you notice, actually, I've got I'm using a couple of little mods. None of really affect. Oh, I've got the tense battles. Oh, I'm gonna have to look it up. I don't want to misquote, say the name wrong. I'm meant to have my list of mods open anyway, just in case. Might be a good time to actually, while I get it open. Subscribed items. So the first thing we've got here, we've got a ceramic Khalida, which just changes the face mask. Oop. I'm not necessarily going to zoom in that much, but it's just, I think it looks nicer. There's another couple of mods which kind of do the same sort of change their mask. This is my favourite one out of them anyway. It just looks just a bit more cool. I can't even remember what the normal one looks like now, but it looks a bit just dirty and not very nice. You think you put a bit more effort into it, but I've the only one that might affect the gameplay is brutal battles. It basically ranks up your units more into tighter formations. That makes them look a bit more realistic and stuff. But it kind of, I mean, they've put bigger arcs on the archers, which I'm not a huge fan of. I mean, it's useful, but it's like I'm not a huge fan of mods that are gonna change the gameplay too much. And it changes how good things are at bracing against a charge and how units can punch through other units, and I don't know. I don't know how much of an impact that really has, but I don't know. Everything else is kind of... I've got a community bug fix mod. I've got a better camera mod as well, which allows me to... There's a bit of a glass ceiling on the basic thing, and this allows you to kind of zoom in closer, but I kind of like it just for the fact that you can zoom out and get a bit more of a bird's eye view properly. You always feel like the normal camera is stuck. What else have I got? I've got a thing that I'll have a look at it. Well, won't be able to show it off actually. There's a unique factions capital mod. It for some of the major capitals, it well, gives them a unique skin. And what I really like about it is that it's different depending on how big the settlement is, which is really cool. It doesn't really affect that much, but it's still a cool thing. I've got improved arrow trails, which improves a bit of a picture. It basically, you know, you can normally see all your archers firing the arcs. We're showing a bit. It reduces that a bit, and I'm not a huge fan, but it's supposed to improve performance as well, which is the main reason I've got. Same with I've got a no dust mod, which I haven't really noticed a difference. It's supposed to improve performance. I don't know if I've got rid of that anyway, and I think that's it. I have a feeling I'm forgetting something, but should be all right. Right, enough yammering. Let's see how the right. So we got these guys on the side. I wonder if I can move these up and get them to start shooting. Focus on the Saurus, will ya? In fact, let's get you out to the side so you can potentially do some flanking. That's weird, they're getting all confused. I don't know why they're not just coming for me. Their range attack doesn't seem to be doing all that much. Let's get you to go in there. Let's get you to run away. Maybe we can kite some of these guys back a bit. But that unit's kind of pretty much dealt with now. Oh my god, they are properly... demolishing my skellies. My skellies ain't gonna last long. But let's get Khalida to go in. She's gonna do alright against skinks. I would have thought these guys would... It almost looks like a bit of a stalemate, you know. How are you guys doing over? How to be... Right, let's get you guys to run away. I don't really want to go... Nothing in my army can really go toe-to-toe with Saurus warriors, I think. Not at this stage. Let's have a look at Khalida. She's got a nice explosion-y type thing. Ah, look at that. See how much it goes down. Oh, you use the custom maps, the GCCM. Yeah, I use them for Total War 1, and I haven't played... I only really got this game at kind of Christmas, so I haven't been playing this game long enough to get bored of the maps. Don't get me wrong, I think the maps look great, the ones they do, the ones that people make, but I just found a lot of them were a big game break. The AI didn't know how to deal with them. That was one of the problems. They often had these weird bottlenecks which would just scupper the AI. So I stopped using it in the end. I haven't used it for this game either. Maybe I'll give it a go. I was kind of hoping for more because it was only mostly settlements I found that it affected. Oop, come back. Then just stand there and get shot. We'll leave these guys. Oh, you coming back? Oh, I thought you were really gone. How are you not running away? Like, as in, like forever, for good. Oh, everybody's going now. Oh, that was a lot easier than I was expecting. I think normally on my previous games, I've waited a couple of turns, built up a huge stack. Oh, not a huge stack, but just enough. And there's no reason to carry on this battle. Whereas there's no reason I can start building on my units now. Because then I always have to replenish anyway after this battle. Yeah, I had that same issue. I was particularly playing orc maps, on orc/dwarf maps. There was a funneling thing. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, you get the more complicated settlements as well. I mean, they look really cool. Don't get me wrong, but they're normally like some of them, quite a few of them. I found these with Bretonia ones. They would split off the like have gates a different side, and of course the AI can't. It doesn't really. I don't know. Maybe I should give it another go. I haven't really tried it. Like I say, I haven't got bored of the maps in Warhammer 2 yet, so maybe I'll give that a go on a future campaign. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure I'll give it a go because there's definitely some that are really good. Maybe I'll go. Maybe I'll pick and choose the ones I want to use. I am liking the new maps with the Tomb Kings though. I before this I played before the DLC came out, I played a Vampire Mortal Empires campaign, and I was spending a lot of time in Cambria or Nehekara, that kind of area, because it was just vampires largely, or at least by the time I got there it was. So I spent a lot of time fighting there, and it's all just flat. I mean, it's quite cool for cavalry and such. But you think, how much can you do with what is basically just a desert and a flat plane of land? But no, it's really cool. I love in the what they've done. See, these archers just do amazing. Khalida actually gives a buff to archers and stuff nearby. Khalida did quite a good job as well. It's mostly just skinks, to be fair. I don't know, I think that was a good success. So, at least in the beginning, what I'm tending to find, my strategy generally is, well, I wanted to occupy and expand, so going for the extra economic jars, but in open field battles, I'm always going for the money to begin with, just because the money's so important. I don't think there's ever a good reason to really sack or raise, unless it's a settlement you're not planning on keeping, because if you get a big settlement and it's already got buildings built in there, you're basically going to waste more money than you're actually going to make because of the free buildings you'll effectively get. Cool, so we've got an extra 1,000 already and we haven't spent a penny yet. We could gain control of one province.
The goddess wills it.
Right, I can't move this turn, so we'll stay here for 2 turns. How long is it going to take you to regenerate? 3 turns, but yeah, you'll be mostly replenished by that time anyway. Enough for us to kind of go out and meet them. Let's oh, Khalida's gone up.
Libaris shall rise again.
So my basic plan is, I think initially as well, I was trying to go through this line and going for lightning strike, but I tend to find I never used it, and I was going for casualty replenishment on the way, and I will want these eventually, but in my offline games, actually, when I was giving this a go, I found it much more useful to go down this middle row. Because she's never going to be the greatest warrior in the Warhammer world. She's never going to go toe-to-toe with Archeon or Malekith or anybody else who's good in combat. So I'm just really going to play to her strengths and make her archers even more powerful. And I guess her front line of infantry, that's a big thing I find. Being able to get your front line of infantry with better armour and being able to hold the army in place is... oh, having said that, Gonna go with Room Archer first. Kind of annoys me, this skill, because it always seems a bit of a no-brainer to go for that for your first skill point. Yeah, I don't know, it's like, it's almost why would you go for anything else? Well, let's decide what buildings we're going to get. We actually get a few more options early on. So it's turn 1, we already have a second building. Normally I've been going for the chariot, just because it gets more variety and stuff, but I'm not, I do want to learn to use the chariots well. They always die. I'm actually want to try out with a second or third army to just go for a predominantly chariot army, but not for Khalida particularly. I will definitely want these, so I want to get to the Screaming Skull catapult, but really I'm thinking short term at the moment. What am I going to need to defeat the lizard men as quickly as possible? And I think the answer to that is more archers and some Nehekaran warriors probably. Yeah, we can afford both. I toyed around with doing the different economic buildings as well, but the economic buildings aren't going to give you enough income in the short term. Oh, we can only build that in our... There was one of the downsides with this. One of the things I found when I've... Sorry, yeah, sorry, I was just reading your question. You've been taking it easy recently with your builds. I generally run up the midway point on the main 3 skill trees. I like what they have done with the army buffalo now. Yeah, it's interesting, they've got these... I haven't played much of the base game, to be honest. Like I say, I only got this at Christmas. I haven't actually played of the new race. I'm not quite sure how it changes. But the... when I first played Warhammer 1, I didn't even realise that the page scrolled in my first game. So funny. So I only went to the halfway point. I kind of thought it ended there. We didn't have any half cut-off ones, but it depends. Normally, I tend to find, depending on which character is. I mean, I played the tabletop, and I've much like the history and stuff. So if I was playing at Kroggar, for example, it's like, well, I might make him like one of the best fighters in the world, because that's what he should be. So I'd very much go down here. And Mazdamundi, who's probably the next person I want to play, I want to make him the greatest sorcerer in the world. So I very much max out those particular lines, the skills, and make them them. So I do like to play like kind of thematically. So I always imagine her very much. I think the model was so static. I think some of her background says as well she's a bit like a statue. She's almost part construct. She basically sits in a chair in her throne room until needed. So that's how I kind of imagine her. One of these small generals sat at the back commanding it. More of a commander. Right, I think I'll upgrade this. One of the downsides of these guys on the Mortal Empires campaign with her is very different, which is good because it gives you a reason to play twice. Not that there isn't like a million playthroughs I want to do with this game, but you don't start off with a capital. You only have a minor settlement as your capital, but in your region you've got Lamia and you're fighting against the vampires, much easier to deal with in the early thing. But Lamia's a 10 building settlement, which is great because you're generally unlocking 2 buildings at a time. And a port's great, but you can't delete it. And I think at this stage of the game, I'd rather have a different type of building. Right, research. So, not huge amounts of decisions at this point. I won't go through it all. I've done that on previous videos. I've never got really going to see the light of day, but I'm effectively going to go for each one of these unlocks a different branch, and they basically have different types of skills. They almost have kind of themes, or there's slight differences. This tends to be the archery theme. That's why I tend to go for it first. But then that one gives you a discount to cavalry buildings, and he gives you, where he's a fairly generic leader you can use for whatever if you use him. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm definitely going to go for this one just because I want these extra skills. It all depends on what money and stuff we've got here. I like to unlock the characters, or particularly heroes, as much as I can. I got lucky on my last playthrough with some of the skills. I had an event which would, for 5 turns, allow me to recruit lords for +5 recruitment rank, and it was just at the time when I was unlocking my 3rd army, and I unlocked the right that would give me the Casket of Souls, which also gives you +3 lord recruitment rank. So I was basically, I got myself 2 level 9 lords, which was great, but it meant I wasn't that fussed in the early time about unlocking the special ones, because although they've got cool skills, they weren't as good as like a level 9 lord, and I'd already been using them and stuff. So that was more of a timing thing. I got a bit lucky with that anyway, so we'll see. But one of the things I am learning with the Tomb King, synergy, being able to synergize these different types of bonuses, I think is really key. Yeah, I learned early on. I think about my first dwarf campaign when I didn't watch any let's plays and stuff, so I was very much just working it out for myself, and I didn't use heroes at all, not until the very end. And by that point, it was a bit of a waste because mine were all really low leveled and everybody else's were higher. But I like to have a sorcerer in every army, or so if my lord's not a sorcerer, I'll stick one in there. But the necrotechs are really good in this because their skills at later levels allow you to unlock more constructs. Hang on, let me just have a quick. I get it. I'll enter. I realise I'm chatting, but it's not actually anything else I want to do. I don't think. But the yes, I did. I wanted to do trade with them. Oh well. That's the thing, getting distracted. Yeah, and even just use, I think for this, I want to, because everything's free to. I mean, it's not free to unlock, but once you've got them, you don't have to pay for them. So you might as well get them when you can. But I want to send a hero out to Ulthran, particularly, and just find trading partners. I think trade will be essential to the ongoing kind of economy of the Tomb Kings. Yeah, from a long-term strategy point of view. I mean, slowly but surely, as you build up more settlement, you'll be able to build it up quite nicely. But so I did that with the Mortal Empire. The thing with the Mortal Empire's one, you got a better starting position, but you're kind of stuck in the corner, so it's not so easy to trade with people. Constructive building that permits recruitment of more units. Trying that. I'm on my way. Right, seems we're waiting around for another turn. I'm prioritising the spearmen over the swordmen just because they've got better defence. And the main job of these guys is to hold the front line while my archers and my other units kill stuff. Let's have a look at the diplomacy. There's a few other bits I haven't really looked. I normally look at the diplomacy just to check out who am I at war with, what's the deal. But
Seeks me. I realize you can
played it a few times, so I've kind of
but must you plague me?
forgetting that. Right, let's see if we can get a trade agreement.
If I must.
Yes, and non-aggression. In the long term, I've got no reason to go after them particularly. And by playing nice with him, I think it'll make it easier that the High Elves in Ulthran will be more likely to trade with me. And as a result, I probably won't be able to trade with the Dark Elves particularly. And I don't really care. That's fine. You kind of... Either one's going to get a bit pissy if you start trading and doing diplomacy with the other, so... I picked the High Elves to be kind with. So I haven't gone over the Books and the Gash actually, because these tend to be randomised. So this is our main objective. We have to get 5 of these, and they're pretty badass. So more the merrier. So just looking at which ones are close by. So this one, there's an army, and the armies tend to be fairly. They're quite cool. I love the. They're normally a mix of 2 races, I find. One I fought against before was a mixture of lizardmen and wood elves, and it was basically Temple Guard with some Stegosaurus, some chameleon skinks, load of Way Watchers, and Treemen. It was a pretty cool army anyway. It's good. it'd be quite cool if there was some way of making armies like that yourself. I don't know, even if it was just in multiplayer or something like that. Yeah, yeah, Conrad was saying he found it quite easy to set up trade with the Tomb Kings when he's playing as High Elves. Funnily, um, well, I was watching a Let's Play and guy playing as Cetra, and he was having trouble, and I don't know why. I don't know if there were some other factors involved. So, I mean, Tomb Kings are more of a neutral faction, whereas they always had the forces of order and disorder. Not quite bad guys and good guys. That kind of thing. And Tomb Kings are always a bit in between. I think particularly depending on which Tomb King you are as well, it makes a difference. I mean, Cetra is a bit of a stubborn git and doesn't like bowing down to anybody, so maybe that's an issue he has. Khalida gets, I think, over her special rules. Well, she gets a bonus to diplomatic relations just with Tomb Kings, but I feel like she's a bit more amenable. She hates vampires. That's a main kind of issue. So I feel like that's all she really cares about. Defending her homeland and killing vampires. So High Elves don't like vampires either, so I think that's common ground. Whereas Cetra just wants to have a big empire, and Arkham, being Nagash's right-hand man, wants to kind of conquer the world. So I don't know if that makes a difference as well. So yeah, extra 20% ammunition all armies, and we get suitable climate jungle, which is good because there's lots of jungle around here. Right, so we looked at... Oh, right, I was going to look at the books what were closest. So this one, readers will be hit by a sandstorm after... Oh, immune to sandstorm attrition. Khalida's generally got a few skills that makes her better at withstanding attrition anyway. I mean, this isn't a great book for us, I don't think. The extra 50% casualty replenishment rate after occupying... Yeah, okay, I mean, it's not bad. None of them are bad. But it's not the ideal one to have near me, I don't think. Especially because we're not in... If we're in Khemri fighting other... It's going to be a while before we fight another Tomb Kings. Because you don't get immune to it. I don't think... You don't get affected by your own sandstorm attrition anyway. So that second attribute doesn't matter. We'll see. It's going to be a while before we get it anyway. This one, on the other hand, +1 army capacity, and being able to have an extra 5 Tomb Guard with halberds and chariots is pretty amazing. So I'm glad to have that one nearby. Now let's see which way we go. We're going to be going up to the Vampire Coast at some point. So my secondary goal is killing all the vampires. Got to make sure I do that. Get rid of them on the Vampire Coast. And so which one's the one that's 1,000,000 miles away? That's actually pretty good. Lord of Recruitment rank +3. But by the time we get over there, we're probably not going to care anymore. We're probably going to be mostly having high-level characters at that point. We're not going to be... I can't imagine that we're going to get to this one. Kill it. In any reasonable amount of time. But it is an army. So, as opposed to a settlement. Because this one we'll have to occupy... Yeah, we have to occupy the settlement. So it's possible we could send an expedition at some point. It might be worth considering. But again, it's turn 2. We're going way ahead of ourselves. Ah, that makes such a huge difference. The trade. Well, we started off on 42. We've already tripled our income just by capturing this. And yeah, the extra 30 income just from having this is generally better than the economic buildings. Yeah, I think because normally other races I tend to prioritise economic buildings, get bigger, better economy means better armies, but with Tomb Kings you want the recruitment buildings, because that means better armies. You're not having to pay for recruitment costs and such. Sorry if the when the volume goes, just me clicking off screen. Just have a look at some of the stats and such. Don't always get to tell straight away if there's instability, but it seems to be fine. Normally if we go through periods of instability, it basically just freeze up. The volume doesn't seem to be, the sound doesn't seem to be affected, but yeah, 50 minutes so far of stability, which is great. Because when it goes bad, it's normally goes bad by now, and then doesn't really get better. Anyway, obtain marble, which is great because, convenient enough, this one has marble.
The goddess wills it.
Right. Oh, we got more archers. Brilliant. So if I move to here, sorry, I just want to check my.
You're a fool.
So in order to be able to, I don't think I'm going to hang around for the 2 turns for the extra recruitment, for the global recruitment. I don't really need it. Could do with an extra turn, but maybe we can always do that next turn anyway if we really want to. Oh, while I'm here, let me change my camera settings, which you're probably not going to be able to see actually. I think I mean you see a little bit, but my head's covering it. I like to my own faction just speed it up to fast. I'll do fast for now, and it doesn't really matter at the moment, but I like to know what my allies are doing, but it can be on fast. I don't care about their heroes. Enemies, I like to know what their heroes and their armies are doing. But again, I put them both in fast. It's not going to matter at the moment. And for now, once we can find more people and such, we'll won't care about neutral nations in general. But we may care about specific ones if they look like they might be a threat in the meantime, see what they're actually capable of. So let's make it a bit quicker. Oh, the other mod I do have is a faster turn camera, which once you unlock more of the map, it spends more time. I want to see what the armies are doing, but you spend more time zooming from one location to the next, and the mod just makes it like a lot quicker, just the zooming over, which is great, especially when once you get to the point when you're unlocking most of the map. I definitely recommend that one. And luckily the turn's ending, because I couldn't think of something else to say. That's the problem with the big turn times. It means I just have to vamp more. Construct a building that permit. Oh, I just completed that. Brilliant. More money. Maintain 8 units of the following type, and I already do. Way ahead of you. So gonna. Yep, that. Straight away, that unlocks. Mission issued, mission successful. What other missions have we got? I think that's a general get a book, which is going to be a while. Research technology. Oh, unite the province and get marble. So once we get that other settlement, we'll get an extra 1,000 and the canopic jars.
Bring me Neferata's head.
So I can't see them. Oh, you know what? I totally messed up. I was supposed to move her and recruit troops at the end of last turn, and I totally failed. That's really bugged me. Silly mistakes like that. Actually, when I do my last playthrough, there was I had tons of tech difficulties. I thought I had it all fixed, and I clearly didn't, but I had a few friends in chat, so between dealing with the chat, which I haven't had many people in chat so far, so it's not really something I've mostly just been talking to myself, but having the tech difficulties and doing stuff, I made so many mistakes. I was constantly distracted by the tech difficulties, but that's, I think, my first mistake so far. I'm basically going to lose a turn. Let me actually just go for... I'd be tempted to go with 6 archers in the long term. In the short term I might do more, but let's get some of the Nehekaran warriors. They're a bit better at causing some damage. So I like to keep them behind the front lines. A lot of this stuff will get replaced later and moved into different armies, but... we might find this turn that the Lizardmen start sending troops down to us. Ideally we'd like to get them in an ambush, but... let's see what they do. I didn't see if they've already gone past yet or not. Oh, here comes the Lizardman. Nope. I'll see if I can get a better treaty with the High Elves as well. In a minute. Because they're at war with the same people I am. I ideally want them to... I've noticed they have a tendency to dither. They're not aggressive enough for my liking.
Is it hot?
Ensure the mausoleum, that's just our capital. Our settlement, capital building is that one, mausoleum. I'll get around to that eventually. Oh, excuse me. Gonna get rebellion at some point as well. 8 turns. Yeah, ideally I would like Teclis to go and... we could deal with that one, but I don't particularly want the Sentinels of Seti actual space, because in order to complete the province I would need the Chamber of Visions, which is a Vortex location, which is no benefit to me, but it's the High Elves. So my assumption is they're going to want it. But I can't peace out with the Lizardmen. It's really annoying. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the same with all of your starting factions. But I don't want this settlement at the top, and I don't really care about this one. If I do have this one, I want this one as well. But ideally, I want to complete the settlement and then head south. But I'm not allowed to, I cannot negotiate with this faction, which is kind of annoying. So I had to deal with them before I turned south and could deal with the Skaven.
Khalida.
So we did waste a turn, but... do I want an extra archer? Yeah, archers are amazing.
The goddess wills it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, and my spearmen are just... all I want them to do is hold up the enemy. Well, let's see if... how... Teclis is feeling. Are you getting friendly? Improving to 30. Be nice to kind of cement our long-term...
if you say so.
long-term alliance. May turn on them eventually. I didn't particularly care about doing that. It's really just more of a matter if they get in my way.
You can know no rest.
I like to play vaguely, thematically, and I kind of feel like that's how Khalida would treat with them as well. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Nope, I should be alright. Can't really do anything with my money at this point, I don't think. Teclis is finally moving. Even if Teclis provides a distraction would be nice. I think because I've gone in early and taken out, attacked the Lizardmen, I think that's what tends to provoke them in going for me. Could be built in AI thing because I'm a human player. Oh, but they haven't come down yet. I mean, of course, it's going to be a bit different from game to game, but as I tend to find that if I when I wait to turn 3, by turn 4 or 5, I can already see the Lizardmen coming after me. Let me just move that screen.